Siemens Energy as a company needs no introduction for us on the outside. Yara, you became MD for France a month ago. What are your impressions? What are your first impressions of the company in that time?
Well, first of all, I've been really welcomed by the team, and that's very appreciated. And then the second impression that hits you is how great the expertise is. We do have 4 different activities, and all of the employees are passionate about what they do and to deliver on energy transition in their different areas of expertise. And that's really impressive.
And what is your vision and priorities for France in the coming year?
Well, in the past 12 months, we already have quite of a good, several news with regards to delivering some of our projects, whether on the grid side with the Celtic interconnector for RT, so to connect Ireland and France, 700 megawatts, 500 kilometers of subsea cables. We also had a big project with Air Liquide in France, what I can detail a little bit later. But so what I see coming forward for me is 3 pillars. The first one would be to consolidate our legacy business and accompany our customers toward decarbonation. And that's an example for our high flex power project in the south of France at Smurfit Kappa facilities, paper manufacturer. We have there the first worldwide demonstrator of power to X to power. So we take electricity, renewable electricity from the grid to produce hydrogen with our electrolyzer. Then we store the hydrogen in 1-ton tank, and then we reuse that hydrogen into a gas turbine that can run from 0 to 100% hydrogen. And that was a world first also to run a gas turbine on 100% hydrogen. So that demonstrator shows that how we can use hydrogen as interim storage for electricity storage, basically. So these are the things that we can do for our legacy business and accompany them to decarbonation. So that's the first. And second, we need also to develop the new business towards energy transition. That's offshore, both offshore wind and grid technologies associated with those. There's major targets in Europe and in France for offshore wind, and we need to be there to accompany this. And 2, it's hydrogen molecules and how to produce them. And we inaugurated our factory in Berlin early November with Air Liquide as well. And that was also a major milestone.
Okay. And coming from the wind sector, how will that influence your approach?
Well, as you know, I am a board member for France Renewable Trade Association, and I'm the president of the Offshore Wind Commission. But I do that for the entire industry, not only Siemens Energy, because we have industry-wide challenges that we need to address. But Siemens Energy is not only about wind. As I mentioned earlier, we had overall 4 activities, 1 traditional service to gas turbine, 1 around grid, 1 around transformation of industry, and the last one is wind. So it is part also of my role as a MD for France and MD for Siemens Energy to be speaking out there on behalf of the industry, on behalf of Siemens Energy for those different activities. Wind is part of the solution, but it's not only the only solution.
And what then are the main challenges that France faces in the energy transition?
Well, as you know, France has the target to become carbon neutral by 2050. And therefore, to reach that, they need to electrify massively, and it's the same challenges in Europe. That means we're going to have an increase of at least 40% of our electricity generation need. And you need to have decarbonated electricity. So we're facing major investments in renewables and also other decarbonated energy production like nuclear. So the challenges in France are threefold. You need to change of scale significantly in delivering decarbonated project and renewable projects specifically. You need to accelerate to deliver this project because it takes today, for instance, about 10 years to deliver a new offshore wind project. It takes about 7 years to develop an onshore wind project. Here we need faster permitting. and that's in the hands of the policymakers to make it happen. And the last one, you need also simplification. That also boils down to making sure the processes, the permitting process, and any other administrative barrier are lowered so that we can deliver more efficiently on the decarbonation roadmap. And it's about the same discussions that is happening at France level, but also at EU level, within the realm of the wind energy package, for instance, or the Net Zero Industry Act that is happening right now. How do we deliver on our targets in the fastest and most efficient way possible?
And you've mentioned hydrogen, and what role do you see hydrogen playing in the broader transition?
When we talked about electrification, this is one step. Today, industries represent about 30% of green gas emission worldwide, and they have a big step to take to actually decarbonate, and that's through electricity, but also via hydrogen molecules, and obviously decarbonated hydrogen molecules, and hydrogen will be the second essential pillar to reaching our net zero objectives. So in that way, we are, as Siemens Energy, we have inaugurated our electrolyzer factory in Berlin on the 8th of November in the presence of the German Ministry of Economy and also French Ministry of Industry, Roland-Lescure, as we are in a partnership with Air Liquide and a joint venture for this factory. And it's a major milestone because we're moving from a small-scale hydrogen business to now a mass production capability to produce 1 gigawatt already this year, up to at minimum 3 gigawatts in 2025. We're changing scale, as I said, it's one of the stakes. And together also with Air Liquide, we're delivering a 200 megawatts green hydrogen project in Normandy that will be operated in the next couple of years. So that's the first step. Now, obviously, hydrogen economy needs to, again, scale up, and we need policymakers to make it, attractive to off-takers and create the incentive for them to be there. We will also need facilitated funding for those, this industry to be able to be bankable and the project to be bankable. And those, levers needs to be put in place so that the industry hydrogen economy can actually rise.
And the North Sea will be an important component, I suppose, in your strategy. And I've heard you say that you'd like to see the North Sea as the hotspot of the climate fight in Europe. How would you foresee that playing out, and how would that happen? And how important will the North Sea be?
The North Sea has always been indispensable for now with its oil and gas deposit to the European energy supply. And now, as you said, it's going to become a hotspot for new technologies and green technologies in the next few decades. North Seas have the capabilities of deploying a decarbonated energy system that will be relying on clean energy production through offshore wind farms, through also a strong grid backbone with all the HVDC connections that is being created and the offshore grid network that is being coordinated by the different North Seas countries. We, for instance, as I said, we're delivering in the Celtic Sea the link between France and Ireland. And three, they're also developing hydrogen facilities around the North Seas. And for instance, we are ourselves now delivering a 50 megawatt electrolyzer to create e-methanol for the shipping industry and Maersk in the south of Denmark. So that this is, the entire energy ecosystem that is being created around the North Sea, and they will be really a driving force in making sure Europe reaches their net zero target by 2050.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your insight, Yara. And for more insights, sign up to join the Enlit community.